Maybe Angie will just fall from the roof after all and crash right into a car that will then get completely destroyed and start honking like crazy, and Okonogi is right next to the car and is going to be like, oh, what a splendid honk. And that is the happy ending for Okonogi. There you go. The Book of the Single Truth was sealed in crystal by Battler. Until the seal is undone, I can't even stick the key in the keyhole. You can remove this, right? Of course. They were in a vast, dimly lit space. To sum it up in a phrase, it was like a trench in the ocean floor. No, that's not quite right. It was a library. However, the number of books and the height of the shelves vastly surpassed all of those that existed in the world of humans. If height is the measure of greatness, then the gods must surely be giants taller than mountains. This place appeared to be a library big enough and grand enough for such gods. Each individual book was no larger than those from the human world. However, the shelves holding them stood like the walls of a valley, or rather a deep-sea ocean trench. So Angie and the others looked like little more than a few small butterflies who had wandered into this vast library, like minuscule deep-sea fish swimming about all alone in an ocean pit. This is more like ice than a seal. If you just steal it away from Battler and put it under the rays of the sun, it will fade away by itself as time passes. Isn't there some way to just smash it open? Do you thaw your frozen fish by smashing it with a hammer? Sorry, I was always terrible in cooking class. Kitties, thaw this seal. When Bancastle whispered from the dark ocean pit deep below them, several emerald green glints appeared and gathered like a school of fish. Bancastle threw the Book of the Single Truth down to them, and only after several seconds passed, the school of fish seemed to gather around it and carry it away. Those few seconds made it clear just how deep this bookshelf trench went. Angie was once again dumbfounded by this unimaginably vast and godly library. We can just let them handle the rest. And you really will let me see what's inside? If that is your wish, I'll grant it. And of course I won't be able to read it myself without that key of yours. Angie silently gripped the golden key in her pocket. This journey has been so long and so strange. In search of the truth from 12 years ago, I left my home, met President Ogonogi, met Amakusa, and at some point that adventure became wrapped in the illusion of the witch. However, here I am. Ushidomiya Efa's diary is here. The truth inside it is sitting right before me. Rest for a while. Even I don't have enough free time to spend it all with you. Well, I'm not really tired. Erika, serve Angie some tea or something. Yes, my master. Oh, sorry. Erika popped into existence out of nowhere and bowed to her master. Bancastle, if you're planning to use me to steal both the key and the book, you won't get off easy. How dare you say such a thing to my master? Sorry, after my long experience with witches, I've decided not to trust normal words. Very well, I'll promise it with the red truth. When the seal on the Book of the Single Truth is dissolved, you, Angie, will be the first to read it. Is that good enough for you? For some time, Angie considered the witch's words, searching for some sort of trap hidden within them. There's no guarantee greater than a witch's red truth. Angie understood this well enough. If she started to doubt even this red truth, there would be nothing left to trust in this entire world. If she began to suspect even this, then even the truth would no longer be truth. Is there something more you want? No, I'm fine. If she wanted to read the Book of the Single Truth, she would need Bancastle's assistance. Angie finally realized that she had nothing to gain by complaining more and annoying this witch further. Once you've dissolved the barrier, call me right away. Of course. I also want to read it as soon as possible. I'll call for you at once. Ban spun away from them, then vanished into the dark bookshelf trench. Angie saw a school of emerald green fish appear and follow behind Bancastle. Could those be her familiars? As she stared at the emerald lights that resembled some sort of deep-sea fish, Angie was poked from behind. Let's go, comrade Angie. You're creeping me out, so please just call me Angie. Then you can call me Erika-sama. Oh, how nice. Let's get going, comrade Erika. The pair began to swim in the direction Erika indicated. Swim seemed a better word for it than fly. Just what is this place? It's way too big to be called a library. It's not like you'll be able to remember its name, so why not just call it the library? I'll decide what I can or can't remember. Tell me. It's the great witch of theater-going, drama and spectating's noble city of carefully selected books. Yeah, the library works fine. Knew you'd say that. The city of books. Yeah, the name fits. The bookshelves on either side of this canyon are skyscrapers. If I think of those emerald green lights flowing beneath us as headlights on a highway, then this really does seem like a city of books. These aren't normal books, are they? That's right. Each volume is packed with an ensemble play. They look like books from here, but if you open one up, you'll find a whole world inside. So even our long tale isn't only one of these. Great witches who live on a far, far higher plane than we do are hardly any different from a creator or god. From their perspective, our little tale is worth little more than a single book, if it's even worth that. From a theater-goer's perspective, our individual lives are hardly worth anything at all. If they're recording an entire world in a single volume, then my life probably isn't even worth a single line. But we're the main characters. I am, and so are you. That's right. Even if the tale of the gods doesn't mention us, we're always the main characters in the stories we write for ourselves. Becoming aware of that fact is the first thing that separates witches from humans. They were on a balcony, which was really a room-sized section that had been dug out of the bookshelf with no guardrail along the cliff. It didn't go in very deep, so it looked like a room that had been cut in half. It was filled with the tools of everyday life, as though this was Erica's hidden house. My masters ordered me to serve you some tea, so if you don't feel like drinking, I'll have to pour it into you with a funnel. If you try, I'll have to serve you some matcha. Matcha? Nothing, just talking to myself. Ignoring Erica as she made tea, Angie looked down upon the bizarre, otherworldly scene below. Until Erica finished getting the tea ready, the scene held Angie's gaze like it was sucking out her soul. This might sound strange coming from me. What? You actually made a deal to throw away your life to learn the truth, huh? That's impressive. I had nothing to gain from life. It was easy for me to trade away the time I had left. My master really does take to idle whims. To think she would make a contract for the meaningless life of a powerless girl. Huh. Angie chuckled, not bothering to argue. That was exactly right. How incredible that Bancastle would lend her power to a worthless life that was trying to throw itself away. Well, my master is the witch who controls miracles, so it makes sense that she'd appear even for a worthless girl like you. Good point. Even if Bancastle hadn't appeared, I still would have taken that step off the edge that day. You really are a cheap and easy woman, aren't you? Well then, just how much are you worth? Me? The way Erica cackled was disturbing. Still, Angie realized that this was her way of answering the question. People don't become witches of their own choosing. If they're capable of living, all people want to live their lives as humans. When something comes along to trip up that life, that's when the road to living as a witch opens. So basically, as an insane person. Even Furo de Erika, who calls herself the Witch of Truth, must be like this. The two witches of truth, sitting here drinking tea without even looking at each other, are exactly the same. I like exposing the truth. I know that. I like exposing secrets, then watching those people turn pale as they wonder how I figured it out. That's when I know I've reached the truth and it's a moment of ecstasy. There's something seriously wrong with you. Well then, what does the truth mean to you? Angie was about to give an immediate answer, but she bit back her words. Then she gulped, not knowing how to respond. After all, to Angie, the truth itself was the goal. At first it was out of hatred. Could Ushidomiya Eva, the sole survivor of Orokenjima, be the culprit behind everything? She hated Eva, but she had no proof that her aunt was the culprit. And of course, Eva never talked about what happened on that island. So at first, the truth meant proof that Eva was the culprit in Angie's eyes. However, that feeling withered away with Eva's death. Now that Eva was dead, even if Angie did find some kind of proof, it wouldn't mean anything. So eventually, the truth Angie wanted to find became nothing more than the simple desire to know what happened on that island that day. However, one thing was obvious. Even if she did find out the truth, that wouldn't bring any of her family back to her. It might not mean anything at all. You're going to expose the truth your beloved Oni-chan is hiding, even though it's meaningless. You're the one who's not making sense. Erika laughed mockingly. Angie laughed too, as though she agreed. And so, my own truth became my goal. Maybe you could even call it my reason for living. So once you do reach the truth, there won't be any point or purpose to you living anymore, right? That's right, so I'll die. Hasn't it been long enough? I've already lived 12 years too long. Don't I at least deserve to have a witch appear and grant my wish in my final moments? Or to put it simply, you're just tired of life. Does that sum it up? Yeah, so both my reason for living and my very existence are completely meaningless. That's why this goal of finding the Book of the Single Truth has put a little sparkle back into my life, now that it's nearly over. At least on that score, I'm grateful to Bandcastle. I see, Bella wants you to live, so he hit the goal line that would bleed you to death. I think I pity Bella-san for the first time. After all, you can't choose your little sister. Sorry, Oni-chan. I'm tired of life. For 12 whole years, I've been living off nothing but the illusion that someone might come home someday. Just let me find peace already. Finding the truth of that day is how I've chosen to mark the end of my life. For 12 years I've believed in a miracle, but there was no miracle. I won't believe in miracles anymore. The Book of the Single Truth, huh? Of course, I'm also dying to find out what's in it. But from what I hear, it doesn't sound like the truth inside is something spectacular enough to mark the end of your life with. Yeah, at first I hoped there would be something earth-shattering in it, but now I've calmed down, I guess you could say. Any truth searched for by a worthless person is bound to be worthless. It'll probably make for a fitting end to your worthless life. Well, she's as nice as ever. Yeah, I'm sure it will. Angie was already starting to realize something. Regardless of Eva's reason for staying silent, the real events of that day probably weren't anything earth-shattering. Some sort of malfunction made the bomb in the secret underground base explode. Yes, it was just an accident. But the public already believed that some sort of conspiracy surrounded the events of that day, so that's what they expected. Eva was a suspect herself, so of course no one would believe her claim that nothing strange happened. Naturally, Angie didn't believe her either. In that case, shutting up like a clam would be better than the alternative. It was wholly surprising that Eva chose to say nothing. Right now, I don't feel any sense of accomplishment. I just feel sort of worn out and listless. Being able to withstand the truth is what makes someone a witch of truth. Comrade Angie, it looks like you don't possess that strength after all. If you did, you wouldn't be thinking about dying. You're right. I've dreamed that someone might come back for 12 years. I've just used Beatrice's cat box to shut away the truth, denying it for all that time. When you read the Book of the Single Truth, I wonder what'll happen to you. Who knows? Won't Bandcastle carry out the contract by slicing my head off with a scythe or something? Or will I be turned into chunks of meat again? Maybe I'll get some salt and pepper this time. I see, so that's where the chunks of meat thing came from. Did you say something? No, nothing at all. Anyway, would you like some more tea? No, thank you. No, thank you. Angie listlessly gazed down from the balcony with no handrail. Down into the darkness of the abyss at the bottom of the bookshelf ravine. No, the gap between the bookshelf skyscrapers. Ravine, the terrorist from Xenogears. From the beginning until the end of my journey, I haven't taken a single step away from this spot. This journey of mine, not even a single step long, will end soon. Also, that was not really a Xenogears spoiler. They're only mentioned in the Perfect Works book that explains more of the stuff that is not mentioned in the game. And now I always think of them when I hear ravine. What are those lines of lights flowing around at the bottom? Are those? Probably a group of guests coming to the Great Lady Aurora's party. Guests? Great witches from the Senate, Voyager witches who are trying to escape boredom in their endless travels, powerful witches who have woken from century-long sleeps, as well as witches who control the future world, and noble witch hunters. It seems she's planning to hold a grand party tonight. And what will be decorating the ceiling of the party will probably be Angie's head. What, is it a birthday party or something? From what I've heard, while the great Lady Beatrice, the endless witch, is an outsider among witches, she's also the genius who created Beatrice's cat box out of her formidable magical compendium, an endless factory capable of producing endless tales. From my point of view, she's just stupid and a weak finisher, but in the world of great witches, she's apparently pretty famous. So this is Beatrice's birthday party? My master says she'll be holding a dinner party with Beatrice's guts. Oh yeah, that's very respectful. After all, it's only natural, right? The cat box was only able to generate infinite tales because there was no single truth. However, tonight, the single truth will be revealed thanks to your key, and that means the cat box will be open. Really, it's no different from slicing open her chest as she still lives and tearing out what's inside. So, wait, that's pretty much what Ban Crystal did in that theater scene. Everyone in that huge crowd that looks like a packed freeway is going to one dinner party? I'm not sure what's stronger, my shock at how famous Beatrice is or my revulsion at those sleazebags. For you, the Book of the Single Truth is nothing more than an end. However, for all of those enjoying the mystery of Rokkanjima, this is an event that can't be missed. I see, so that's a crowd of those ghosts who were chewing Onichan's game board apart. Angie's analogy was an accurate one. The crowd far, far below them was made up of nobles wearing beautiful outfits and gold masks. They were all so intent on tearing the guts out of Beatrice's catbox that they couldn't even hide the drool trickling from their mouth. Those gluttonous goat nobles who derived pleasure from the violence of exposing the truth were in a line of cars heading towards the meeting place. Looks like this is the end for Beatrice and the catbox. Beato and the others have holed up in the Golden Land the last remnants of the game board. Bella and Beato have strengthened their defense and have destroyed the first wave, but they won't be able to stop the second. My master has given me an armada capable of destroying the very concept of defensive measures. The Golden Land's ramparts are as good as gone. Those ghosts who appeared all over the island, they're the personification of random opinions on the future, and all of them want this island's tale to be a tragedy. That's right. Those goats keep getting born from the sea of the internet. That first wave was just the riffraff. The second wave will be entirely different. It's made up of the best elite goats, selected from the crowd that are capable of denying all the cowering pieces one by one. In total, they number in the hundreds of thousands. 100,000 people to deny the existence of a few dozen hiding on an island. Looks like this is it for Onichan too, huh? Are you sure you're ready? You understand that Ushido Miyabella died in 1986 and that this man is an illusion created by the catbox. Yeah, I understand. Regardless of whether he's my real brother or an illusion, regardless of whether he's who I'd like him to be or not, the battler who created this game board for my sake will die. No, I'm just going to accept the fact that he already was dead, so it's not like he's actually going to die. Angie thought to herself, shouldn't performing her brother's last rites be her responsibility? This was her final trial, which she had assigned to herself. All of those people down on the game board were the personification of Angie's naivety. By denying the existence of all of them, wouldn't she finally be able to accept the truth? No, that's not right. I'm not being honest, even with myself. That bizarre Halloween party may have been an illusion, but that didn't make it any less heartwarming. Onichan said it himself. True, that Halloween party may have been an illusion. However, he was trying to use that party to tell me something. About that second wave. My master has appointed me to be their commander. Leave it to me, Angie-san. My master isn't so malicious that she'd make you dirty your own hands. Yes, that might be kind of her. These are my lingering attachments we're talking about. I should be grateful to Bancasto. If she really were cruel, she would probably have ordered me to take charge of the second wave and execute my own family. Come right, Angie. You're a witch of truth, aren't you? That's right. Probably. Then accept the truth, okay? Finally, after 12 years, the single truth lies before you. I'll just sit around here until Bancasto breaks the seal. You'll probably be summoned as a guest for the party. We've got a mirror, so maybe you should wipe the sleep from your eyes. And maybe you should shave before heading out to battle. Huh? It floated there in the empty air. The door to the Golden Land. At its base, there was nothing except some floor tiling about as thick as a rug, so it was fairly hard to imagine that this was Kinzo's study. By this point, all of the game board except the Golden Land had been eaten away, leaving only this door floating in a sea of nothingness. There were two shapes in front of the door. They were Battler and Beato. They may not have been literally covered with wounds, but they definitely seemed to be dead tired. Battle, leaning against the door, seemed to have finally caught his breath. Beata was also sitting against the door, letting her legs dangle gracelessly. Could the battle against that force really be called a battle? It was more like a mere pushing contest on the increasingly small bit of ground that remained. They had wanted to protect at least kin so steady no matter what, and the only fruit of their desperate struggle was the thin bit of flooring that they were sitting on now. Those goats fell into the abyss whenever they had nowhere to stand, so now with so much of the floor gone, there was no way for them to attack anymore. If Bella thought this, his naive hopes were quickly crushed. Looks like we're surrounded. They probably planned to gather their forces and crush us in a single stroke. Oh. Where the hell did they get pictures like that from? Stretching across the ocean horizon that surrounded the door at their backs was an encirclement of countless large sailing ships. As they could clearly see, the decks of those ships were packed with goats, with some of them more foolish and overeager ones spilling over the edges of the emptiness below. Dang, I've gone through a lot of crazy stuff in your games, but being surrounded by pirate ships is definitely a first for me. They probably do possess the strength to break through the Golden Land's perimeter. Those cannons are no bluff. Doubtless they will be able to use those to smash through this door and pour in. Along the sides of each ship were several open gun ports, each with a cannon pointing at the door. If this many ships all around them fired all of those at once, there was no point trying to imagine what would happen next. Batla and Beata grimaced and hung their heads. How long will the Golden Land perimeter hold out against those cannons? I do not know. However, since they are still awaiting reinforcements after amassing that many soldiers, I doubt the barrier will break that easily. True, I can't think of any other reason to delay your attack without even sending terms for surrender. I hope we can take advantage of this time they give us. Time is always the ally of the weaker side. After all, we can always hope for a miracle, though it might just lead us further into despair. At that moment, something small and hard hit Bala in the forehead. Ow! The fuck is this? Competo? It's me! I know where Bran and the others are. Oh, the candy was Lambda Delta's transformed body. She was the only one of their allies capable of crossing the Sea of Fragments. Spectacular. That's the great Lady Lambda Delta for you. They can see us here. Let's talk inside. This is starting to get messy. Got it. Is anyone there? When Betlam knocked on the door, it opened and Shannon and Kanon came into view. You called for us? My apologies, but we need you two to keep a lookout. Leave it to us. When they begin their attack, don't worry about fighting them. Escape to the Golden Land as soon as they start. Don't worry about closing the door. But that means... They're planning to ignore the door and smash the Golden Land directly. Making a last stand here won't do anyone any good. I understand. We'll take care of things here, so go inside and work on a counterattack. We shall. We're counting on you. Betla and Beato traded places with Shannon and Kanon and returned to the Golden Land. A gentle rain poured down over the Golden Land's rose garden. The weather here reflected the hearts of those inside it. The quietly falling raindrops spoke for the pain felt by those who could do nothing but hide here, waiting for the enemy's final assault. When they returned to the arbor, that piece of competo flew out of Battler's pocket, jumped onto the table, and returned to its original form. I haven't had a spell like this for years. Hard to believe I'd find myself in such a tense situation even after becoming a witch. Let's get down to business. Where the heck are Angie and Bancastle? They're in the City of Books. I've heard of it. They say it's a place where great witches, travelers of the sea, store countless fragments in the form of books. You mean the great witch of theater-going, drama and spectating's noble city of carefully selected books, yes? The great Lady Aurora is the ruler of the City of Books. Indeed, that would be a fitting place for those two to go. Not going, Lady Lambda Delta. Hard to believe you could pick out that spot so quickly from all the other possible hiding places. Actually, it was pretty easy. I didn't even have to search since they're advertising it as loud as they can. They're planning a huge party to celebrate the announcement of a great secret. The secret to the cat box of the great Lady Beatrice, the Endless Witch. I see. They haven't been delaying their attack because they await reinforcements, but because the party has not yet begun. So in this party, they plan to use Angie's key and reveal the contents of the Book of the Single Truth.
You've got it. Aurora hasn't held an event like this for ages, and she's gathering VIP guests from all over the place. The Book of the Single Truth will probably be the party's final showpiece.
That means we still have a shot at taking Angie the key back.
Time-wise, that may be true. However, there's a really simple and obvious problem.
What?
The City of Books is a sacred realm under the supervision of the Senate. It's protected by a holy barrier. Only a witch of the Senate can enter it.
Have they invited any non-senators to the party?
They have. It looks like they're being given special invitations, which allow them to enter the sacred realm for a limited time.
Invitations? My, now this could be interesting.
That's what I thought. However, there's a strict policy on punctuality, so these invitations automatically become useless unless you present them before the party begins, and I'm afraid to say that the party started a short while ago.
In other words, it's too late to try stealing an invitation from a guest who's running late.
That's right. So, what do we do now? Could someone get me popcorn? I'd like some candy flavor this time.
As an outsider, I hate to barge into this conversation, but we seem to have no options left.
We're already done for, aren't we? Can't we do anything except sit here until they attack? There must be something we can do.
That's right. There's just one thing we can do.
What's that? We can keep on struggling for each second of survival and hope for a miracle.
A miracle?
So we're stuck defending the Alamo.
Surrender isn't an option. We can only hold out as long as we can, waiting for a miracle.
Who knew? What kind of miracle?
There's a chance, maybe 1 in a million, that Angie will change her mind for some reason and come back.
Huh. With a probability such as that, it truly would be a miracle. We're here to evade Angie's return.
Yes.
This right here is the only place Angie's can call home, so we must defend it to the last minute, waiting for her to come back.
Awaiting the return of one's master is the servant's duty. Now that we are here, I go to and prepare for whatever may come. Peta-sama, all of us are prepared.
We of the Chester Sisters Imperial Guard will fulfill our oath and remain by the Great Lady Beatrice's side until the bitter end. 45 here, no problems. I will fight until the end. Finally, a fitting place to die, yeah. No problems from 410, yeah. The 7 Sisters of Purgatory will stay with Beatrice-sama and Bella-sama until it's all over.
The 6 younger sisters also show their resolve with their eyes.
Eisenet Jungfrau will serve until the end.
The former SSVD's got your back too.
And I ask that you lend us your power as well. Me? No way. Didn't I just give you some excellent intel? I think I've done more than my fair share, don't you?
How do you know that Angie-chan is in the City of Books?
I saw her with my own eyes, of course. I never trust anything unless I see it for myself.
Which means you're qualified to enter the sacred realm called the City of Books, right?
Indeed. The great Lady Lambda Delta is the witch of the Senate, after all.
Lambda Delta.
What's with you guys? You aren't going to tell me to do more work, are you? My, what an unexpected development. Lady Lambda Delta is the only one who can enter the City of Books.
Could that possibly mean
that this is Lady Lambda Delta's time to shine? Enough kidding around. Are you people crazy? You're telling me to go all by myself and sneak into there one more time and then bring Angie back out here?
The several dozen people surrounding Lambda Delta all nodded in unison.
How stupid can you be? If I say Angie, I'll be crashing the Great Aurora's party, get it? I'd have the whole world as my enemy. And what's in it for me? Nothing, obviously. There's nothing you could possibly offer me that would be worth getting on the bad side of Aurora and her monster friends.
You get to see a happy ending where Aurora and Bandcaster's schemes are crushed, Amy comes back and everyone makes peace with one another. What do you say, Lady Lambda Delta? There could be no greater thrill. If you pulled off such a marvelous feat, you would be able to forget your illness for 1,000 years, would you not?
We're begging you, Lambda Delta. Lend us your power.
Please, please, we're begging you. Help us save Angie.
Everyone surrounded Lambda Delta asking for her help.
Please, Lady Lambda Delta, only you can do this.
Give us your strength.
I'll show you the greatest of tales. You'll get to see it from the front row. So please lend us your strength. Shut up. Shut the hell up.
Lambda Delta leapt to her feet and crushed the cup of popcorn in her hands. Sweet candy-flavored popcorn flew all over the place, hitting everyone in the face. It might have looked funny, however no one laughed. Lambda Delta's face was filled with a rage that none of them had seen before.
Please stop getting the wrong idea. I am a spectator. A I'm just a guest who was invited by Beatu to come and watch this game. So why should I risk my life for you people? You think you'll get a happy ending if Angie comes back? Are you really that stupid? Ben and her forces will come sweeping through here, mad with rage, and wipe us all out. There's only one reason I'm here, and that's because Leon over there said I'd get to see an interesting show. Yeah, now I'm sure I'll get to see a sublimely interesting tale very soon. A sad, sad tragedy as you fight desperately against Ben's forces and get wiped out one by one. Oh, I'm sure they each get one last time to shine as you're torn apart. If I just wait a little, I'll get to see all that, won't I? Pretty soon, all of you will be dead. But not me. I'm a spectator, a guest. There's absolutely no reason for me to die with you. No one was able to say a word. In the still silence where there was no sound except that of the rain, even Lambda Delta finally hung her head in dismay. Sorry, I'm totally lame, aren't I? Sure, if I stood up right now and said leave it to me, my popularity would surge and I'd probably make it into the top 3 in the next character ranking contest. But still, unlike the rest of you, I'm not a character who appears in the story. I can't die. It's like it's midnight and you're telling me that the climax of the show is coming up next, but tomorrow's Monday and I've got early cleaning duty at school. We live in completely different worlds. And so, Lambda Delta staggered as though dizzy, then plopped down into a chair. Then she became expressionless like a doll, just staring at a single point in space silently. Sorry. Bella softly apologized, however Lambda Delta remained expressionless. It's not fair for us to force you to risk something on your own, not when we haven't yet exhausted all our options. We'll fight here and defend the spot until the last moment. We'll believe in the miracle of Angie choosing us over the single truth. If we weren't prepared to do that, we could hardly ask you to give up your life along with the rest of us. Battler rose from his seat and span around. Battler. I'll switch places with the pair outside. When the enemy comes, I want to be in the front lines. That's the fastest and most direct way I can show Lambda Delta my determination. I shall go as well. Teacher, please find Lady Lambda Delta some more popcorn. Beato, I know Angie will return. Without belief, even miracles that might have occurred will not. You can't win a lottery unless you buy a ticket. Beato also stood up and followed Battler. Everyone, let's do what we can to prepare for the fight. Yeah, it'd be stupid to just sit around here doing nothing. Good point. Let's at least give him a good show at the end. We've got to make sure there's a place Angie-chan can call home. We should hold a strategic conference too. Yeah, we have furniture, weapons, demons, and inquisitors on our side. There's gotta be some way for these mismatched forces to cooperate. Let's go, little sisters. Break time is over. Teaster troops rise. The humans and illusions all rose to their feet and left the arbor. Afterwards, only Lambda Delta remained, still staring blankly at a point in empty space.